Hey guys, welcome to lecture 14 now. This lecture will be going over series. So this is going to be the first lecture where we start to take a look at the pandas module. It's going to be a really useful module for analyzing data. So let's see how it works. First off, let's go ahead and import NumPy as NP. Then we're going to import pandas as PD. And from pandas, we're going to import series and data frame. So series is what we're going to be working with mostly for this lecture. We're going to be using it so often that we don't want to have to write pd.series or pd.dataframe all the time. So we're just going to import those separately. So let's go ahead and click Alt-Enter. Let it import. Cool. So let's create a series. A series is like an array in NumPy, except it has data labels, so it's indexed. To show you what I mean, let's go ahead and just create an object here. And we'll call series kind of in the same way we were calling np.array. And we'll put a little list or array in it. Let's say 3, 6, 9, 12, just multiples of 3. And then let's go ahead and show that. Alt-Enter. Cool. So let's take a look at what's different here. You can see that each value is indexed. So the 0 index we'll call a 3. If we want to just see the values of this series object, we can say call values on it. So dot values. And it'll show us the values in an array. If we want to see the index, we can also say .index. And that will show the index values, 0, 1, 2, 3. So each of these index values corresponds with the series values. So, since index is a big part of series, and later on we'll see data frames as well, let's go ahead and create a series with an index that we specify. So let's go ahead and create a series. I'm going to call this one WW2 CAS. So we're going to make a series for World War II casualties. And I'm getting this information off Wikipedia. So let's say the numbers I'm going to use are 8.7 million. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you can really put in any values you want here, but this is just for demonstration purposes. 1, 2, 3, 4.3 million, and then 3 million on this guy, 6 zeros, 2.1 million, 3 zeros, and then we'll go with 400,000, 2, 3. So those are the values of the series, and then we can say comma, index equals, and now we're going to make an index for each of these value numbers. So if you know something about World War II, you might guess that that 8.7 million value belongs to the USSR's casualties. They suffered the most casualties in that war as far as any allied nation. Then second ones was Germany's. Third one was actually China. Suffered quite a bit of casualties. Next one was Japan's casualties. And then last one was United States casualties. And let's go ahead and see what that series looks like. Cool. So now our index is actually the country name. And then the value is the number of casualties. So we can use index values to select series values. So to show you what I mean by that, we'll type in our series name and then type in our index name. So let's say we wanted to know the casualties in the United States. We could call that, and then we'd get the 400,000 mark. It really interesting thing we can do with series is check with array operations. So let's say I wanted to check which countries had casualties greater than 4 million. The way I can do that, whoops, sorry for the spelling, add countries. So how can we do that using a series? Well, we can type out our series, and then we can just put in an array operation argument. So, for instance, we'll put in our series greater than 4 million. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're calling for the values that were greater than 4 million in the series. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Cool. So we get that the USSR and Germany are the two countries that had casualties greater than that 4 million mark. We can also treat a series as an ordered dictionary in Python. So for instance, if we wanted to just check if a index or value was in a series, we could say something like USSR in our series name, and we'll either get a true or false. We should get a true in this case since USSR is in our series, and we do get the true. Since it kind of behaves a bit like a dictionary, we can actually convert a series into a dictionary. So to do that, I'll create a dictionary name, call it www2_dict. And the way to convert a series into a dictionary is just calling to_dict on it. And then I'll show what that looks like. Cool. So now our series is actually turned into a dictionary. Let's say we wanted to convert it back into a series. We can call it whatever we want to name that series. And then we can just feed into the series command that dictionary name. So you can actually feed dictionaries into series. And let's just go ahead and show what that looks like. And now we have a series again. So let's say you were going to pass a dictionary into the series. The index will have the dictionary keys in order. So to show you what I mean by that, let's create a list. So how about we create another list of countries? Let's say China. Oops. These will all be strings. Germany. And you don't have to do this many, but this is just to follow along with the IPython notebook that's on the GitHub link. And let's just do Argentina for another one. So we have our countries. So we have a list of countries, and we can redefine another series. So we'll call it object2. Oops. So we'll have it be a series. We'll pass that World War II dictionary on it, and then we'll set the index to come from our list of countries. And we'll see what that looks like. So if you notice here, Argentina was not in our original dictionary list. So we scroll back up here and see www2_dict only had China, Germany, Japan, USA, USSR. So since Argentina wasn't in there, pandas, when you pass it through a series with a particular index that didn't have that value, it'll just give a NaN value, so it didn't find it, just that null value. Pandas has built-in methods to find null and replace them or check if they're there or not. Those are is null and not null. So let's take a look at what those look like. So we can call pd.isNull on that object2 we just made. And so it's going to check every value and see if it finds a null value there or not. So Argentina showed up true since there was a null value there. Let's say you wanted to do the opposite command. You wanted to find where there were not nulls. So you can just call not null on the object. And then you'll get the opposite. So China, Germany, Japan, USA, and USSR were not nulls since they did have number values there. Argentina is false. It was a null. So it was not null. Sorry. Let's go ahead and check out that World War II series again. Cool. So what we can do, another thing we can do in pandas is we can add objects to series or series to series, and it'll automatically align the data by index. To show you what I mean by that, let's see what object 2 looked like. So they're the exact same thing, except object 2 has a null value for Argentina. So if we add up our World War II series, add it to object 2, what we should expect to see is in China have 6 million, Germany have 8.6 million, etc. But what we'll expect is that there's no value for Argentina. So let's just see what happens here. Cool. So it lines them up by index. You don't have to specify. Even if they're in the wrong order, it'll still add up the correct values by index. You can give your indexes or your series names. So for instance, object 2, we can name it to have a string name. So if we want to get more specific, we can call it World War II casualties. And then let's show you what happens when you do that. So it'll show you the series, and then I'll show you the name of the series, World War II casualties there. So when you're dealing with Python, it's still going to have this object name, obj2, but the actual series itself has a name, World War II casualties. You can also name the index. So since our index is just a bunch of countries, we can do that by calling index and then calling name on the index. And we'll can label that index as just countries. I don't know why I keep spelling countries. There we go. Countries. And now let's see what that looks like. Cool. And now you've labeled this index countries. It's a bit like almost like Excel, like you're labeling this index column countries. So that's a little intro to series. Next we'll learn about data frames. We're going to be working a lot with series and a lot with data frames, so you're going to see all of this often, so don't worry if you didn't quite get it this first time. You'll see it many, many more times throughout this lecture. Alright, I'll see you at lecture 15.